John Kiriakou will soon be the first CIA operative to go to jail for leaking secrets to a reporter. Kiriakou portrays himself as a whistleblower who exposed waterboarding, but prosecutors say he betrayed his former colleagues. Bruce Riedel is a former CIA officer now with the Brookings Institution and a former colleague of Kiriakou's as well. You have written to the president, Bruce, asking him to commute this sentence. It's a 30-month sentence. Why? Given what I read and what I heard the judge say, the judge said she thought 30 months was not long enough. And what the prosecutor, Neil McBride, said is that he was originally charged with other charges of disclosing names. And the picture of this one CIA officer was found in the jail cell of one of the Guantanamo suspects.
Hi, Andrea. Well, I'm not here to relitigate John's trial. He pled guilty to one instance of giving the name of a CIA operative undercover to a journalist. That's a serious offense. But many of us who've signed this letter believed that this should be put in perspective. John is a CIA officer who served very bravely for his country for more than a decade overseas in some of the most dangerous places of the world. He most notably led the team that went in and captured Abu Zubaydah in 2002, the first senior al-Qaeda figure captured after 9/11. The capture of al-Zubaydah was critical to the line of captures that ultimately led to the death of Osama bin Laden. Secondly, there is precedent here for commutation of this offense. 4 years ago, President Bush commuted the sentence against Scooter Libby, the vice president's chief of staff. Scooter Libby had leaked the name of a CIA officer, Valerie Plame, to the press. He did so very deliberately, I would say even maliciously. That did very badly damage a CIA operational capability, and yet his sentence was commuted. Let's put John's situation in some perspective. Does the punishment fit the crime here? I think he's already been punished a lot. He's incurred tens of thousands of dollars in court expenses. He's lost his job. Does it really make sense to send an American hero to go serve 30 months in jail? I don't think so, and a number of other people, including a dozen other former CIA officers, have asked the president for mercy, for compassion in this case.
Let me play just a little bit of a Today Show interview that Savannah Guthrie did with John this morning.
It's a little nuanced, though, isn't it? Because you're saying that the government started targeting you after you spoke out first in 2007, a time when you said these practices, in your view, were torture. You said that officials high in the government authorized them. You also said they worked. In fact, in 2007, you told MSNBC you were coming forward then because you thought that the agency had gotten, quote, a bum rap on waterboarding. That's somebody who's defending these practices, not denouncing them.
Yes, I did defend the practice in the beginning, because I was relying on what the CIA had told CIA officers inside the building, that these methods were effective. That turned out to be a lie.
That shows that there's been a lot of confusion back and forth, but I guess one thing that comes through here is the agency, do you think, and is the Justice Department trying to make an example of him in this crackdown on leaks, which we're seeing in a lot of other instances as well? He's the first to go to jail, but there are a lot of cases now being pushed by the Justice Department, more so than in prior administrations.
And I think that the government has every right and every obligation to do what it can to maintain the secrecy of CIA operations abroad. But don't get me wrong, I think that leaking the names of CIA officers is a very serious offense. I've served undercover for my country as well, and I wouldn't want to see it done to me. But I think we need, again, some perspective here. This president rightly decided to outlaw torture and to close down secret dark prisons. I think those were the right things to do. He also decided, again rightly in my judgment, not to prosecute those who had been involved in those operations, because after all, those operations were ordered by his predecessor, George Bush and Dick Cheney. It's deeply ironic then that a person who has spoken out against torture, who has cried out that his conscience said to him this was the wrong thing to do, is now going to be the only prisoner who goes to jail in the Obama administration for issues surrounding the use of torture. This is a progressive, liberal, democratic administration. I supported it. I helped to get Barack Obama elected in 2008, and I continue to support him today. But I don't think that it's a good fit for this administration to send to jail an American hero who has worked against torture when those who carried out torture aren't going to go to jail in the future. It just doesn't add up right, Andrea.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Bruce. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you.
And we'll be right back.